Well, hello everyone and welcome yourselves on in. This is going to be a pretty extensive getting started guide on New Cycle. So it's a very difficult game to balance and manage, and I've had the pleasure of being able to play quite a bit to be able to get this out for you. So what I'm going to do is place the first stuff out, but I'm going to go over the UI just so you guys are happy with it. One of the first, well, the major first things you're going to do is, as you can see, is you've got your toolbar at the top. Now, if you hover here, there's actually this resource panel that you can switch. So I highly recommend clicking that one. And what that'll do is give you extra rows where you can actually assign and see resources here. You can, in fact, replace it with any other resources that are in-game as well. As you first start, you won't have anything in the list, but you can change that as you go as well. Photo mode is up in the top right here. You can just click that and you can hide the UI. You can look around. Just press escape to get back in. So that's the very basics of the top. Top left, you can name your camp. Tutorial. Lovely. And then from here as well, this little menu, this is how you go to the main hall, which we haven't placed down yet. I'll be doing that in a moment. This is a good overall look at the cycle progress and how you unlock the next lot of research and progression within the tree. Now in here, you've got your population, your morale. That's how eager they are to work and stuff. You've got health of your colonists. And you've got attraction. So all things in this list, as you can see here: base, workforce conditions, food quality, food distro rate, water distro rate, housing, healthcare, and outer awareness, all affect attractiveness. You can build this up by obviously making them very happy and building out the world map for scouting as well. We'll get into that later on. And you get more immigration, essentially. The other part about the main hall is this actions tab. So this is something that I didn't know about for a long time. And this is really good. Not necessarily the emergency work shifts, I've never needed this, but the inpatient rest leave, when you get hit with a bad medical condition, this gives you plus 20 health. You'll lose a lot of productivity, but it gives them a chance to heal, and it's really good. And there's more you can unlock as the game goes on, a little bit like Frostpunk in the scenarios. You'll unlock more of these in here. Up next, you've got overview and reports. So in here, you've got all your settlement details. I'm not going to go through these. I recommend just clicking through and having a look. You've got the life, so supplies and services, health, attraction. People, we haven't got anyone in yet. I'll show you that in a moment. Structures, material, and regions once you've got them set up as well. I didn't use this enough, and I think it's really good. Up next, you've got your development tree. So in here, you want to obviously start research, but if you hover over each one, you'll see the requirements on the left, and there's what it can unlock as well. In order to go across to more of these, you'll see them as you progress through the cycles. So as I mentioned previously over here, when you hit this cycle, you unlock new research. The last two on the left here, statistics, so you can go input, output of different types of statistics and stuff. Because we haven't got anything, I can't show you that yet. And then you've got the world map for when you get the scout. So that's the very basics of the overview. I'm on the meadow map at the moment, which is the suggested I'd recommend you play on it. And then you get started. So what we're going to do is click this first step here, and we're going to begin. I'm not going to read anything out, and we're going to go straight into our main hall. Now you're going to want to pick an area where you want kind of as the center of your colony. R to rotate, and if you press tab, you can go away from the grid and free build as well, but I highly recommend keeping it on the grid. It makes it a little bit easier. We'll pop that one down, and then it will ask about a tutorial, but we're not going to be doing that. What I want you to get up first is a couple of these. So field camp is what you can get iron, stone, and wood with early game. Now over here, there's a really good spot. There's a lot of wood, there's a chunk of iron and a chunk of stone. So when you first start, look for this patch here. It's the best one. And if you get it so it's highlighted blue, that means it's reachable. So we just want all of that iron and as much as we can get in wood as well as that by keeping those highlighted, which is there. Up next, you'll want a gathering camp, which when you first start, you can only gather mushrooms. So what I'm going to do is just pop it here. Just going to plonk one right there. And then up next, you're going to want to go into the production tab and grab a lumber mill. Now, I'm going to keep these all relatively close to the town hall here, so we'll get the lumber mill right there as well. So the lumber mill will allow you to make lumber, and that's what's required. So that plus stone is what you need for the dusty roads early on, so get those in. All right, so that message that just came up, it takes you a walk through a little quick tutorial. I'll quickly run through that, which I want you guys to do as well. And once I'm done with that, I'll bring you back in, because there's the basics of the game. Alright, so the field camp is done. I'm going to assign people to that, including stone, so we'll start getting a stockpile of those. I highly recommend you get the stockpile as early as you can. And look at this. So you've got a well. Now, click on the well. This is without doing the tutorial. There's these little nodes. So you have deep wells and normal wells. So early on, I'd highly recommend getting a big surplus of water. Now, you can put each one on a singular, but I quite like, because later on in the game, you start running out of water, and it's easier to manage if you try and cover a few nodes with each one. And I find you don't really run out of water that way, so I'll start with just this double node here. That's really easy for us to get a road on, so I'll just pop that right there next to that one. And then once you've built it, you've got to assign each thing. You're going to assign workers to that one, and those guys chopping down will then create lumber from that. Now at the top, as you're starting to get resources, you know I said before, so you right click, you can select ones now, so you can move it around and readjust however you want. And if you hover over each one, you get a really good brief overview of production and consumption for each item here. And what I'm going to do is plan out a tiny bit of a road network here. And if you hold shift, you'll stay in on the building as well. So if you click these out, step 4 has been complete. We're going to slowly bring these out as we produce, and we need to pick an area for our housing and an area for our storage. So produce 60 water. We already put the well in. As you can see, I do know the what's coming up, I guess. Wants us to build another one though, so there's no problem. We'll get another well in to match the requirement here. Now what I'm going to preemptively do is get another field camp and another gathering camp in just whilst we're waiting. So you'll learn what you need to kind of grab as the game goes on. It doesn't matter how far out they are from the town eventually. Just bear in mind that you will need a road to them. Gathering camps, not so much. They'll work without them, so I can actually go up here. And I know there's a spot up here that has loads of stone if you ever need it. But there's also an iron one here. Early on, though, we just need more stone. So I'm going to go ahead and put it here. Enough space to grab wood when we need it as well. Oh, when you're scrolling the camera too, it's quite slow. So if you hold shift, it'll go quicker as well. It's a good one. All right, so we finished that well. So step 3 completed. So there's only 9 in the tutorial anyway. Well, there's 4, but we did one. Daily bread, gather 40 mushrooms. We are on that. I'm actually going to go ahead and get another gathering camp in as well. So there's a really good spot over here, guys. So you get 2 mushrooms, 2 meat, and 1 fish as well. So if I put it right here, there is another fish there, but I personally don't use fish that much, so I have it as a backup. I'll pop a gathering camp right in the middle of the forest there, and we'll get a road into the network. It's pretty costly. Keep that in mind, and it will chop your trees down. All right, other gathering camp is in, so I'm going to pop the stone workers in there. I might even get one more person getting wood as well. And we'll connect that one up. So that gathering camp is now in, so we've got 12 more workers. I'm going to pop those in as well. Step 5's done, but I'm going to get ahead of the game and get a big surplus anyway. And here we go. Produce 30 meals. So it wants me now to research basic construction. I'm going to go ahead and hit that one. Here we go. We've got someone. You have people coming in. You see our first immigration. We will accept those in. 2 more. We're going to need that. Now we've got a few more things. So before, it wants us to produce this soups and simple meals with the soup kitchen. But I'm actually firstly going to go in and get the stockpiles. So you want to pick an area that's kind of... I like a little bit of an area that's away. So what I'm going to do... just build a little road over here. And we're going to start the stockpiles here. Now, you don't need... so I'll go through these in depth because it can be a little bit confusing. But stockpiles do not need to be close to certain resources. They are a global feature in this game. So if you place it here, it doesn't matter. It'll take the same time for someone with the resources needed over here, whether it's here or next to it, if that makes sense. So do not worry. I'd highly recommend, if you want to make a nice, pretty city, move them away. Get them out of the way completely. Get them just out of the way, you know? What you'll want to do, though, with these, when they're built, if you just go into them, each thing you'll want to turn it up. You have this storage and total storage. You'll actually want to hammer up, honestly, if you want to survive in this game, put water up stupidly high, okay? So I had surpluses of like 40k that instantly disappears due to bad illnesses or droughts and things. So we'll pop that at 50k. We'll be building quite a few of these. Same for food as well. And when we unlock meat and stuff, we'll be doing that as well. But I like about 20k mushrooms. Let's say 15k simple meals to start, and we'll build in a few more. So we're going to have a little stockpile area over here anyway. And then, as it said it, we've got 11 workers. We're going to go in and grab the soup kitchens. Now, soup kitchens, I'm quite happily going to put them here. And you see, we'll start using up some water when the soup kitchens come in. So I'm going to continue, when I've got the available resources, to pop wells down. I'm going to put one next to this. So one that can reach all 3, I'm going to go with there. And then we're going to go in. I don't know if it will let me do the research. Yep, it's letting me start the research of living standard here as well, which is good, which is where we can build the housing. And we're going to pick a spot for housing to come in as well. So we're going to be using up a bit of stone here, but I'm going to keep most production over here, and I'm going to actually build down. So I know if you check first, click fertility layer, you'll want to not build your housing and stuff on too much of this green area because you're going to need it for farms. So you've got different layers, really. Mining areas over here. Drilling area, do not build on this. Save that for oil as well. That's over in this corner. Really, really useful to have. And then you've got water layers, but don't worry. It gives you little water icons anyway. So, oh, and there's wind layer. So if you want to do a bit of wind power early on, this whole section's really good over here and over here. So try not to build too much on them. Kind of reserve them. So, if I go fertility layer, we can kind of see this is not too bad for a start of a housing area. So I'm just going to bring this up and we'll have it come out that way and out this way. So I'm just going to speed it up a little bit and I'm going to go this way. I'm going to start my housing area around there when we have it researched, which it's just finished there. So we're going to also select our meals and we're going to go mushroom plus water, 4 people in there, and we're going to start producing meals now. Now, to get ahead of the game, I'm also going to go ahead and get a second one in. Next door to it, and I'm going to continue getting the wells in. So the wells do not require people to man it, so please get them in early on. Get them in and get a stockpile of water. It's so important. Alright, before it goes into the next tutorial, I'm going to slow it down. I'm just going to show you the population management. Now, it goes through it in basics on the tutorial, and we'll show that in a moment. So it wants us to go in here and set the distribution to regular on both of these. So what you can do, basically, each worker, craftsman, and specialist, your 3 tiers of people, they all have a health factor, and in order to make them healthy, there's all those things on screen that contribute towards it. Now, as you get bigger, new things unlock as well, like housing, entertainment, health, security, tools, clothing, all that jazz. We've just changed it to regular, and this is why you need to start supplying more, because actually you can over ration and it ups their morale. There's also this workforce slider here. Now, from the beginning of the game, now bear with me, do this. Put it down to 0.5% workforce, so you always get that +5 bonus, right? And if worst cases, you can crank that up later if you're struggling, right? But I would always keep that low. And there's a reason for that. There's a really good buff that it gives you for giving them time off. And actually, that buff that gives you off gives them better production than if you keep it up. So their efficiency basically goes up to 110, I think it is, rather than 70. So you get about the same production, but their happiness values are a lot better. So it's a little bit of a good tip. And then we're going to distribute successfully for 2 days, which we'll be doing anyway. And then I'm going to get this on the go again. We're just going to pop all the remaining workers in there and get that hammered out. But you will notice the production values are slightly lower because we turned it down in there. But that's fine. And same goes for these. When you start producing better meals, you can change what you want to put in here. So you get a 1.5% times and filling meal. This one here, look, 1.8 times. So it gets pretty deep. But as you can see, already I've managed to nail half of their health issues, right? So food distribution rate, water rate, and food quality is all okay at the moment. And then workforce condition 5 being huge there. Now, whilst we're waiting, I am also going to make use of the wood that we have, and I'm going to continue building stockpiles. I'm going to have 4 here. It's going to be a little bit ugly by our housing estate, but I'm going to come this way anyway. There we go, all done. So the basic tutorial is done. So from now on, we're going to go into slight more advanced than what you want to kind of do to keep going and make sure you're efficient. The best thing you can do then is, because you're early on, you're going to have pretty okay amount of logs. Now, just hammer some in. Get a big stockpile, right? Just build loads of stockpiles. Honestly, you will not regret it. So just get a bunch in. Keep the road going. I'm going to come this way with them, I think. I'm just going to have a big row of them here. Because there's a good bit of farmland over here as well. So if I go fertility, this whole area I like up here. This is one of the best spots for fertility on this map. So keep that in mind. And then, as you can see, the mushrooms are running out on that one pile. So I'm going to preemptively look. Now, we did get that one, so we're fine anyway. But you want to try and keep the surplus going. And there's a couple of good spots. There's another singular there, but there's one up here that has 2. And another one here that has 2, so it has loads more. But we want to be going on a spot where there's meat as well. So I'm going to go ahead with this spot over here that encompasses all this. I'm going to grab another gathering camp over there, and we're just going to pop a couple of people in there. Now, in order to hit the next step, we just need to hit 40 population, so we just need 3. Now, we have 2 children, so when they grow up, that takes 39. So we'll get there. But in the meantime, we're going to put in some shacks. And it's 10 per house, I believe. So obviously we've got 39 at the moment, including the children. So 4 houses covers us. Don't build too many. Make sure you only build as many as you need as you scale as well, because housing becomes a bit annoying because they complain and it affects efficiency. All right, there's our 4 housing now. So as the next day comes in, you see that? We got a +10 to morale there for housing. And here comes the first winter. Now, another factor you want to keep in mind here, the days go really quick. So we're 29 days in already. Down here, you get a little log of what's happening. If you click each one, it'll take you over to it. The other part is down here in the bottom right. There's this little water drop icon. If you click that one, it shows you what's coming in on the next season on replenishment rates for water and harvestable goods out there in the wild as well. So usually during spring, summer, you get these top ones here, but the autumn, winter, it starts to get really bad. So we're in a severe drought. This is why you need to make sure you're stockpiling, right? So as you can see, water and food is going up. And there it is. There's the thing. So you see this? Relief. A few relaxed days with light workload and high morale gives people a chance to refresh. +7 efficiency for worker class, +25 knowledge gain for worker class. That's the buff you get for keeping the workforce down. It's so good, honestly. And that pops up like it lasts for 8 days and it pops up quite frequently. So you almost always have it. So it kind of offsets really well and you're looking after the health of your colonists because of it. You get less sickness and death. And whenever you build a new building, make sure you at least have 1 worker in there. Because if a building is not operational for more than 5 days, I think it is, you get a -20 to workforce inside of it. Workforce is affected by this. So as you can see, because we've got lower workforce, that would be 40, but it's actually 20 because we've lowered it in our tab. And then you've got efficiency. So there's certain things that factor in that. So hover over each one and it'll tell you why. All right, we are through our first year, basically, and you get your replenishment. So you get an end-of-year highlight, and it tells you a bit about it. So renewable resources for the year, 93% replenished. So it tells you an annual water balance, annual ration balance, what happened during that year. It's always good to have a little look at that. And then when the new year starts, you get this nice morale to all classes, and it's really, really handy, and production kind of ramps up because of it. But as you can see, everyone now is going back to gathering, and most things kind of replenished. So we get a good amount in each one again. So it takes a couple of years for the children to actually grow up and be able to work. But until we hit this cycle here, there's not much you can do. So please do go around and fill up pretty much every single water node. Please trust me on that too. But don't go too close to these little squares when you're hovering over. I've put that right on top of that. But because they're mineable resources, so keep that in mind as well. So I'm actually going to grab all 3 of those. I'm also going to grab this one. And I'm going to just build the roads out whilst we wait. There we go. We've set up all the roads to all those pumps now. Highly recommend doing that whilst you got downtime. And keep pumping this in. So if you think you're getting too much lumber, just bear in mind you will need loads anyway. So don't be too scared to get a big surplus of that as well. And then any events that happen up here all have different effects as well. So I'm actually on sandbox mode as well. So when you play story mode, depending on difficulty, it can be pretty harsh. So do keep that in mind. And then what I'll do in the meantime is just build a road up to there. There's also mineable resources over here. That's a good little mine spot. There's another 1 or 2 over here. We've got some immigrants coming in as well. So is that 3? That's 2. So we're going to be waiting for 1 more. But yeah, there's mine spots all along these little areas that have rocks sticking up. They're all mineable resources as well. So try not to build too close to those because you'll need the mines. Right, with the new workers coming in, I'm going to get my 3rd soup kitchen here. I'm just going to absolutely hammer in quite a few meals and getting them prepped. We'll get that built out here. Try and keep all your buildings together as well. It gets very confusing if you don't. And you'll see why late game it gets really, really confusing. All right, just going to bring a road around this now. Do that. And there we go. We're going to accept these. So that's just 2 more. So we need 1 more. So we either need 1 to grow up or another immigration. But I'm going to go ahead and pop those in anyway, and we'll just get those 2 guys in there pumping out some more meals as well. As you can see, water's still climbing massively, and mushrooms still going up nicely anyway, so no issues there. Alright, so as you slowly progress in, you'll get these little rules that come in that you can basically tell them to or not do. Here's the first one that you get, right? So people can exchange rations among themselves as they wish. It's a new regulation, barter right. So it gives morale to all classes, but -5 to all classes on workforce. It's pretty good. Or you can just outright deny it and keep them as they are. Now, the -5 to workforce can be a little bit annoying late game because morale's quite easy to keep high, in my opinion now, because you've turned the other one down. So I actually reject life and regulation. There's no bad thing with that. It may have helped go towards this current objective, but that's fine. The moment we hit spring again, this current objective should pass, and we'll get a nice little buff from it anyway. All right, end of year 2, and our children have grown up, so we've officially beat it. We get the replenishment rate. There's the one I was talking about for the new year. They get plus 14 morale to all classes for that refreshment rate, so that should grab this one in. Morale-wise, they should have a little bump there. And there's the new cycle. So the moment you hit that boost, we have now unlocked everything here, so we can go into the proper chains. And this is where I wanted to kind of get to. So I want to go through all this right now as well. And there's the objective complete, so we'll grab that one in, and we'll get a boost because we completed something, an extra plus 20 morale for a small success. Now, first things first, we'll go straight into research, and I'll show you what we have here. So we've got living standards for community needs, and a lot of them, if you hover over them, actually have a requirement of other research before you can do it. So we can't get power grids until we've got metalworking, because it costs iron. Hunting, you need metalworking techniques, so we can either go metalworking techniques or community needs. Community needs is pretty straightforward. It's really cheap, and it unlocks a tavern and gives your people the needs. So I'm going to go ahead and research that one. And now that we've got an extra spot that we need to fill, I'm going to go ahead and grab in another shack here. And I'm probably going to leave that as kind of like a buffer for statues, because they are in the game as well. And we'll go this way. I'll grab in one more there. And there's the complete. So we need better shelters, sturdy roofs, build 3 shacks. I probably should have waited, actually. There's one. The only time I will build them is on this, because it gives you a nice boost. So I'll go ahead and maybe get those 3 there. And then because we unlocked that tavern, I'm going to go ahead and get this one in. I'm going to build it central, and you'll see that I've left 2 little squares there. Actually, let's go this way. Enough room for the road, and then we can fit security towers here. I'm just going to bring this road down, so we've got something to work with. I'm actually going to go ahead and connect this one up here. And there we go, housing 101. We've built the 3 shacks. And this requires iron ingots, so we can't get the tavern in until we've done the next research. So next is going to be metalworking techniques, so we'll get that researched. Now this spot up here is going to be where I start my production chain area. That's why I started getting this one out, and I think I might wait on that, but I'll get my smelters here and then my production buildings here. And it pays to lay them out properly for the late game when you set up conveyor belts. So here we go. We've unlocked those now. And up next is going to be these, but we need tools and iron. So smelting is our very first thing. So we're going to want forge. And we can see we need iron ore, but we have set up a couple of spaces where we can collect it. So I'm going to start right over, let's say, here. And I'm going to get 2 smelters straight in. Now, we don't have loads of people, but I can remove them out of these. So like meals, I can take 2 out of these maybe. That'll be fine. So we'll go into the gathering camp. We got a good chunk of iron that we can get there. So we'll get 3 straight in there. 36 per day. So these take 3 workers as the main first building. So we're going to select our iron here. And we're going to put 2 in that one. 1 in that one. Just to keep it ticking over. And then we'll get a consumption and production rate of these. And then they'll want us more tools. Kind of guide you through the first lot here. So it's good. And someone from another land. And then that kind of unlocks the produce some basic tools. Now, we don't have the population to do so. We do have 6 children, though, and look at the health of our people at the moment. So our next immigration should be pretty big. Just got to wait for it to come in. All right, little complaints about the tools then. So we're going to start getting that set up, and we'll need smiths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these guys 3 block... yeah, let's go 3 like that. And this is because we're preemptively getting it ready for when we have conveyor belts, so I'm leaving a little gap. I think there's arguably enough space on the map to build around it, so that's fine. What we'll probably do is reduce these down to 1 in each. I could probably get away with reducing these down as well, so I can knock these a little bit further, and I can utilize more iron. So I kind of want to keep maybe you in there, and then these 2 are going to go into the tool production when we've got it. And now we've unlocked tooling from the research, it then becomes available in here. So we're going to want a regular distribution straight away, and that's going to give us another morale boost here for health. All right, so that has been built. So select your tools here. That costs lumber plus iron. No power now, so we've got 40 that are missing. So upgrade the main hall. We'll get that one going. That's fine. Make it happen. And it costs stone, lumber, and iron, so we'll get those in. We just need to sort power because no production will happen if it doesn't have it. So on the research tab, we can go windmills now because we have the iron to do so. So really, I should have got those in before. And then what we'll do is utility-wise, once they're unlocked, we'll start putting them out this area. I really like this section here. And there we go. We've got a group of travelers. 4. Nice. So that's really good. What we can go ahead and do, because I took people out of the mushrooms here, just pop 2 more back in there. And just whilst we wait, I'm going to pop 2 in there. So we're going to get loads of iron on the go. And there's the windmills. So we're going to go ahead and queue up a few of these. So you get this in the indicator. The same for the farms, this bit at the top left. And it shows you when you move around where the good wind spots are. So I'm going to utilize probably from this point here. And I'm going to go as far back as I can. I'm not even sure whether they need roads, because that's how it originally was connected. They may have changed it. So these guys require iron and thingy, but we've got iron going into... we complete the main hall upgrade. So we go ahead and go that one because we got all the items in. So that's going to upgrade now. And as you can see, our attractiveness is going up because we've sorted our workers out, right? Very, very useful, but tools being a problem here. So we need more iron. I shouldn't have built so many, actually, so I might cancel some. That'll do. And a merchant has come. Nice. There we go. We can buy some iron from them, but we've got nothing to give them, so nothing we can do with those. And you'll see quickly that total storage does even go up. I built loads. We've got a whole chunk of them here, and they're still filling. And I like that they do fill up as they go along. They're barrels of water. It's very cool. Just slow it down so you can get a proper look. Absolutely love it, man. It's really worth having a look over. So we officially, once we have the spare tools, we'll be able to research hunting, and that'll be this whole stage done until we hit 50 population. Now, worth knowing, we've got 12 children, so we're already going to hit it because we're so healthy. This is why you want to do this really early. You can get your population booming. I struggled when I first started playing because I couldn't get population up, but just by turning this down and getting everything ramped up early, you see I'm nearly on 40k water, nearly 3,000 meals. It is so good, honestly. So just do that, and you'll be set for a few cycles early on. As long as you scale with every cycle to factor everything in, so play slowly. I can't stress that enough. Play slowly. Alright, so the last development has completed for this cycle. So we had a couple grow-ups. We were able to get some tools in, which was really nice. Now, when this happens, there is certain resources you see here. So you unlock the fish, the meat, and that leather is how you go into the clothing next. So what you want to do, these can be harvested during the winter. So take them out of the mushrooms and go into meat. I'm going to show you a little cool tip. So, come out of these guys, let's go into the hunting. We'll keep one just ready for the mushrooms after. But go ahead and flip one of your cookeries into meat as soon as you start to get some. And the reason for that is it doesn't use water, it uses just meat. So the meal is actually just grilled meat, I believe. So it's so good. So flip one over to that so they start producing simple meals with just meat, because it will last all year round as well. And then you can start stockpiling mushrooms for when you need them. Look at this, look. One of the messages it wants us to stockpile 5,000 meals, 1,200 simple meals. Already done. There you go. Easy. Honestly, this is all you need to do to get started. It is the best thing. And there's objective complete straight away. And by completing these objectives, you get these happiness boosts to further get you done. And the earlier you can get these, the better, right? So everything production-wise will go really good. And that's 3 years in, guys, and that is going to be where I do end this tutorial out. Now, once you've hit this point, that's everything done for this cycle, right? Now, make sure you're scaling everything as it goes up, and keep an eye on everything. Play really, really slowly. I can't stress that enough, because as you start to go through, so it's from cycle 3 onwards, it gets really, really deep. You can't see them yet either, but it gets... The production chains get pretty nasty, pretty scary, so really, really do slow down, take your time. Manage your workers as much as possible and just scale them as you go up as well. So make sure you're scaling food and everything. Keep a close eye on everything as it's going up. Always try and surplus both meat and water the moment you unlock meat. That would be what I say. Do the same for all the ingots when you get a chance as well. And clothing and tools. Get a big surplus of them all. It really, really helps. But guys, if this has been helpful to you, please smash that thumbs up for me. If you aren't subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel as well. And if you have been playing and watching as well because it's just come up or anything like that, please do put your tips into the comments as well for anyone else to see that I may have missed for early game. As always, guys, I hope you have a great day. I'll catch you in the next video.